Hi, my name is Svava Brooks. Good to be here with you. If you're watching the replay, I am taking fellow survivor thrivers through my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self. We are here. Hello, my friends. How are we doing today? Boom, boom, boom. Here you are, right on cue, right? Hey, Sue. Good to see you. Hey, boss, right? Hey, Rob, I'm the boss now. Let's see, who else did I see pop in here? You guys were so fast. How are you guys today? Oh, look at the flowers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know your way to my heart. Hearts and flowers always make me swoon. Hey, Chrisanne, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. How are you? I'm sorry, guys, I have to lean in. Look, we got some pretty green hearts today. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Man, I was just looking at my calendar. Good, you're doing good, nice. Yes, I'm doing pretty good. This week just flew on by. Maybe it was because I missed Monday. So we got our unicorn here with us. Didn't quite catch that name. Sue, you're feeling good? I took your lead today, Sue. I took a nap earlier. I was up super early this morning and I'm going out this evening. Very excited about what I'm going to be doing this evening. And so I wanted to get some shut-eye, so. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Unicorn for Life. That's our friend Anita, right? Yes, I remembered. Hey, Anita. Everybody say hello to Anita. Glad you're here. Are you at the gym today? Are you on the treadmill or lifting the weights? Working out? Hey, Lady Leo. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. I was impressed yesterday that you were, it's a rest day. Good. Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So good to see you guys are acknowledging each other. It's a good tribe. Oh, somebody showed up with the red hearts. Beautiful. I love how they color coordinate our hearts. Right? You like that? Okay, I'm good at doing the impressions. I'm working on actually doing the workout, so. But I'm not so bad. I'm keeping up with this body. I am. I've learned to slow down. Yeah, your type of gym, right? Exactly. Just, right? Exactly. It helps if we actually lift a little bit of weight or are pulling on some stretch bands or something, or do actual squats or push-ups. All right, tribe. I like this. Anita, you are the designated workout person on our team. Yay! Exactly. We all have roles now because we are planning our world tour, guys, right? So each person has got a job. You got your vote. All right, Rob. Anita, we voted you in. You are the designated workout person, gym person of our tribe. What? Does the gym. No one's dying, okay? Exactly, Lady Leo, you got the music and the entertainment, exactly. Rob is doing the sandwiches, Nora is planning the retreat schedule, Sue is going to be our account manager. She's going to manage our savings account because we all need to start saving our money, right? So we can meet up somewhere. And so what other jobs did we come up with? I think we're doing good. We need a travel agent, right? Is anybody here good at that? Travel agent, coordinator, you know, anybody really good about points, flying cheap? Exactly, that's right. And Nora does everything else, right? Gotta love that woman and all that energy she has. I'll bring the tea, okay guys? I'll bring the tea. I'm the designated tea person. Who's in charge of tissues? I'm usually the one who brings tissues because I'm the one who's always crying. So I'm happy to bring tea and tissues. It rhymes, tea and tissues. How do I get a vote on tea and tea? I bring tea and tea, tea and tissues. See, we know to have fun here, my friends, right? The work that we're doing, the healing journey, it's way too serious. So I'm so happy that you guys are like me. We have to giggle sometimes just to make a little light of it all. Make a little light of it all. So yes, so you're branching out into Chinese and dim sum too. Nice. Good job. Or giving us thoughts that cause cleansing tears. Yes, I will definitely do that. I will definitely. Yeah, Sue sent me a picture today that her cat was helping her with her tiare. And I know what that looks like, Sue, because usually when my yoga mat goes down on the floor or I lay down on the floor, the cats show up. They're either getting in the way when I'm doing yoga or they like to put their claws on the mat. So. But was your cat actually standing on top of you? Is that what that was? Exactly, they are. They are. Definitely, they show up. And my friend Lady Leah, was he sitting on you? Oh my goodness, that is funny. That is hilarious. Because I was looking at the angle. I wasn't sure if he was on the mat or if he was actually on top of you when you were taking that picture. That's great. So you got a tiare partner. That's fantastic. Yes, and Lady Leo, I promise I will bring some heart-moving things to our, when we get together. So we'll support each other through the tears. So he'd been weaving, doing your legs. That's funny. That's funny. Aw, well, that's so sweet. Your puppy dog was there to give you extra love, extra support. See? We are loved, my friends. We are loved, right? Yes, yes. Sometimes we just need to look up and notice. Exactly, it's unconditional. They're just like, I'm here, yes, just love me. I love you already. As long as you feed me, right? At least that's how the cats are, right? As long as I'm the person feeding them, get a lot of love. We talked about dogs' emotional intelligence before. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I actually think most animals are smarter than we give them credit for. That's what I believe. So, right? It's just that, you know, we're so busy as humans, kind of pushing through life, right? Yeah, oh, that's great, Lady Leo. He's your emotional support dog. I think everybody needs an emotional support pet, if you ask me. Whatever pet you need, we all need one, always, because we can't expect a human, right, to show up for ourselves sometimes, and sometimes it feels a little too vulnerable, right, to actually be seen by a human when we're feeling really down or sad or letting our tears come out. So nice. Nice. Your cat is on. Anybody else? I know a few of us have cats here. The cats are Exactly, Lady Leo, exactly. They are keepers of our secrets. I can actually remember going back to my childhood, I escaped out of my house as much as I could, and we had lots of dogs, and so dogs were my safety, exactly, no judgment. And I remember I would take my dogs and go for walks. I lived in a valley outside of the big city, Reykjavik, which is, the big city has 90,000 people. So that's the big city where I come from. And I would take my dogs with me and I would walk up onto those mountains anywhere around. And then usually I would sit down on the top of those mountains and just sit and cry. Sometimes just sobbing, and then especially one of my dogs, she would sit in front of me and just sit and look at me. That's all she did. She would just sit and support me in that way. So very, very sweet. So, and I mean, our pets are always happy to see us, right? They always happy to see us, even if you just take out the garbage when you come back. It's like you've been gone for a week, right? Like, yay, she's back. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, are we ready to dig in? I know we went, after a little bit of break yesterday, we went right into the deep end, so yes, exactly. You'll tell him you'll be back, and here he is. Yay, I'm happy to see you. So, are we ready to discuss today? I think today's pretty good. This was an interesting one for me on my healing journey, and I've learned I'm not alone when it comes to this topic. So are you guys ready? Day 102. I think this lesson was kind of like taught me to kind of choose my battles, as I say. But here we go. Your quality of life is directly linked to your ability to be flexible, right? What's that? For a long time, I did not know what flexibility was, but let me finish my reading here. This means letting go of the need to control everyone and everything in your life. To accomplish that, make non-attachment and non-resistance your new goals. You are safe now, right? We forget. Our body forgets. Control is just a toxic coping strategy that we learn as abused children to feel safe. And we've talked a lot about that, right? We talked about that yesterday. How our body responds to trauma. So, hey Nora, hey everybody, Nora's in the house. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. So, I'm going to continue my reading. Control is just a toxic coping strategy that we learned as abused children to feel safe. So, letting go helps you create an adult life filled with more peace, joy, and happiness than you can ever imagine. Hey, my friend Nora, I'm so sorry to hear you've been sick. That's not good. Yes, very sorry to hear that, my friend. I know you've been working so hard. So that's not good. I hope you're giving yourself maybe a little bit of rest, drinking a lot of water, exhaustion. Yes, 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 my friend. We were just talking about our world tour, and we were talking about how we needed Nora, right, to help her with our plan. So we need you, woman. So we need you strong. We need you healthy. Hey, Connie, welcome. So please get some rest. Get some rest. We're all sending you lots of love today. Good, good. Yes, I know we can count on you. I know. Gonna have a sip of my tea here. I got green tea, highly recommended. Hey Connie, good to see you again. So we are on day 102. I just read the kind of like the truth of the day. Hey, Katie's here. Hi Katie, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for the flowers and butterfly. Beautiful. Great, she's fantastic. Nice. Good to be here. Good to have you. Good to have you. So I'm gonna read our little nugget of truth here for today before we dig into the questions again, right? So your quality of life is directly linked to your ability to be flexible. This means letting go of the need to control everyone and everything in your life. To accomplish that, make non-attachment and non-resistance your new goal. You are safe now. You are safe now. Control is just a toxic coping strategy we learned as children to feel safe. Letting go helps you to create an adult life filled with more peace, joy, and happiness than you have ever imagined. So, my friends, let's talk a little bit about control. Who here, right? Everybody raise their hands if they can relate to feeling a little bit controlling sometimes. I'm gonna raise 2 hands, right? I'm gonna raise 2 hands. I feel the opposite. The more flexible I was, bending over backwards, keep everyone happy. That I hear you. I hear you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. There is a difference in taking care of people, being the caretaker, and being flexible, right? There is a little bit of a difference there. So I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Because, you know, I was very controlling, very rigid in the routine and in the rules and how it should be, which also then made me, I was very judgmental, hypercritical of others because I was hypercritical and judgmental of myself, right? And yes, because I wasn't able, not yet, to see how this was playing out in my life, right? And the feelings that were underneath all the need to control everything, I bent over backwards, yes, to make sure I was taking care of other people and making everybody happy. And that was definitely, but I wanted to control how and when, and if people did what I said, then right? I got to be self-righteous. I controlled who I could and to who I couldn't do. It's still all control. Rob, I'm sorry, I missed that one. I'm in an intimate relationships. I'm good until emotions are shared. I hear you. Katie, I learned very early on that I could best control my environment by making sure I was the target. Exactly. It's another way. We figure out a way to get control. And we see this maybe in children, right? It's like, you know, kids can, if they don't get their needs met and are shown healthy boundaries, they can manipulate with drama. Like they control. They control to get what they need, whether it's positive or negative. No relationship. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, Connie. So Rob, I'm sorry that I missed what you were trying to say. So it was about control, but I'm sorry. Sometimes these things move through too fast and I don't catch it right away. So, but again, remember, our body, you know, responds with by controlling the hurt, right? By controlling the hurt and disconnecting, right? And then because we often end up staying there because we don't get the loving support to process and understand what's happening to us. So my kids are safe and I'm safe. Yes. Got it. I understand, Connie. Definitely. Yes. We are aware and we're educated and we ask questions, right? Exactly. So the thing here is, what aspects, the questions, what aspect of your relationship? Okay, I'm going to lean in and read this. I'd learned the patterns of people's behavior so I could somewhat predict or prevent the explosions, right? The caretaking. We become master mind readers. We become masters at, scanning the environment, finishing people's sentences, seeing around corners, right? Because that's what we needed for safety. Exactly. Controlled when I could, but subservient with some who I felt were stronger. Yes, exactly, right? It's like power and control. It's like, it's such a misunderstood and confusing thing for humans, especially if we learn that we are not raised by loving, supportive parents that empower us, like that give us our sense of self and empowerment, age appropriately as we develop through, the healing journey, or not the healing journey, through as we mature, the stages of development. Like each stage, as we get older, we are supposed to master a new skill to become self-sufficient, right? But if we miss out on that because people are violating our boundaries, people aren't modeling, healthy dialogue or healthy relationships to us, this all becomes very confusing. And we have an innate need to have some sense of self, to feel like I do have some power. I have power over me and my body. And the truth is, we can perhaps control people. We control to try to feel worth something or to get love. Yes, exactly. The truth is, we can control people's behavior, but we cannot control how they feel, right? Like I could, be controlling with my children when they were little, thinking, right, this is me asking or demanding, I was very controlling when my girls were younger, when they were, babies. And because I just, I wanted to keep them safe, I wanted to keep them clean, I wanted to keep them fed, the rules and the routine was very rigid. And as a result of it, I know, and I've shared this with some of you guys, is that my kids, they even feared me a little bit because there was no room for mistakes or some flexibility, right? Where, none of us is perfect. We all, color outside the line sometimes or make mistakes. And so it's very hard to be in a relationship with someone. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is, when you feel like you constantly have to be on your toes, that if you do something wrong, not according to this person's, beliefs or wishes or must be, right, then you're in trouble. So you end up withdrawing yourself from this person because you kind of give up because it doesn't seem like you can ever do it right. It's never good enough. So what was helpful for me on the journey was to recognize, let me lean in here and read again. Typically freeze, fawn, and self-defense, but fight in response to protecting others. Yes, I hear you, Katie. I hear you. I hear you. So it's interesting to kind of recognize how we do this dance exactly with other people and how this shows up in our relationships. You described my relationship with my parents. I had lived that my whole life like that. When my kids were very young, if they got a small spot, I changed their clothes. I hear you. I wonder at times how I can be the great parent people tell me that I am. Well, I hear you, my friends. And the thing is, yes, Lady Leo, I hear you. I hear you. Constantly keeping them, clean. And that was definitely how that showed up for me, as when I became a parent. It's like the house had to be very clean, things had to be very tidy, everything had to be in its place. So again, it's hard to raise children, to let children be free and have fun when the environment is so rigid. You know what I mean? That they were always afraid that I would come down pretty hard on them. And I hear you, Katie, exactly. That's the answer to that, is that you are doing the best you can, given where you're at and what you got. And so for me, it was very important to forgive myself in a way, to understand that this need of mine to be in control was because I, of course, didn't want to let down my guard, be vulnerable, and of course, I feared for my kids', safety and protection. I still take 3 showers daily, and as a parent, I always kept them clean. Yes, I hear you, my friend. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. Amen. Absolutely. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. You're not alone. You're not alone here. You're not alone. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Yes, I thank you for that. That was what I, set out to do, is that I couldn't go back and undo, what had happened to them or how I was with them, because when they were younger. But what I can do is to show up differently in their life today, right? Because our kids are always going to be looking to us for what does it look like to be a happy, fulfilled human being? Like, what does it look like to be a kind human being? They learn from us. They learn by watching us. And so I know I have changed a lot. I'm not the same person that I used to be. And I can also see that development in me, or those changes in me and my kids. And even, and my relationship with my husband, because I'm not the same woman that he married. I was incredibly controlling with him too. I had, all the reasons why I was constantly criticizing him. He was, not, I had all these lists of how I was going to try to change him, right? We don't marry people and accept them who they are. We marry them, I'm going to get that into shape in a heartbeat, right? And that was the other thing around being flexible, when I stopped controlling or trying to control my kids, when I stopped trying to control my husband. It's like I had all this free time on my hands. It was just like, it dawned on me one day, right? I gotta stop focusing on them. It's time that I focus on Svava. What can I do that brings me peace, that brings me joy? I hear you. I hear you, my friend Rob. I hear you. I hear you. Well, the challenge is, it is exhausting at times, Anita. I recognize that. And also, Rob, my relationship with my mother has developed over time, and the same thing has applied to her, is to recognize, I see now, because what I've learned about trauma, that all of us, it didn't start with us. Most of our abuse is multi-generational, and what I had to forgive myself as a parent, I also could look to her as a parent and see that they were trauma survivors. My kids just started shaking their heads at me when they were young, and to this day. That's cute. That's very cute. So look, the more we heal my inner self, right? When I really started to look at why I was struggling becoming a softer, more flexible, more compassionate human, period, right? But once I was able to start to do that, you know, to myself, it started showing up in my relationships. And now when I see other humans, I see myself in others. You know, why are they, you know, being so controlling? Why is this person being so upset? Why is this person, you know, in the need to have it so, right? I understand. And I can send them compassion and be gentle with them, because it's okay. You know, I don't have to be right all the time. It's okay. I don't. I used to. No, I had the last word, and it was going to be just the way Svava said it was going to be, right? But then I was like, you pick your battles. You pick your battles. And especially, you know, with my husband, like I said, once I was trying to push him for so long, and once I stopped and just started focusing on me, it was like he changed. It's like I didn't do anything. I changed me. And as a result, he became more pleasant. He stopped being on guard around me all the time, worried about that I was going to criticize him or judge him, or always looking over his shoulder if he was doing whatever he was doing right. And it's just, life became a lot easier. And we became much, much better friends. I mean, after 24 years of marriage, we know each other's buttons. We know exactly where they are. Like, I can pinpoint, you know, exactly what sets him off. And instead of in those, you know, early years when I was in my hurt and I would go after his hurt, I don't anymore. And instead of, I can see if he responds, I know when he's responding from his hurt. And then I can support him from that. And I don't try to, you know, control or manipulate. I'm still learning, though. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm still learning to ask for what I need and be more specific and clearer about it. My kids now understand why I'm so protective when I told them what happened to me 3 years ago. I hear you, Connie. I hear you. I hear you. And it makes sense to them. And that's maybe the harder thing too, is to maybe explain to our kids when they have age and maturity, to explain to them, you know, listen, this is the reason why I have these rules. You know, I'm not being, you know, bad or mean or over whatever. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. But it's important that we help them understand. And the same thing I did when my kids were younger. Body safety when they were 2 years old. Exactly. You got it, Connie. Yes, age appropriately. We need to talk to our kids about their bodies, because what gets hurt, right, is our bodies. And if nobody has talked to them about their bodies, that they are in control of their bodies always, and they can always say no, and that we're always going to believe them, and then we have to model that. Even us as parents, controlling parents, right, who, I know what's right for you. I know what clothes you should wear, right? It's like we have to, okay, what's the line? How can I support my child in recognizing that they have some choices here, that I'm going to respect their no, and we're going to connect, have a really, you know, solid, kind connection before I launch into correcting them, because I think my way is better than their way, instead of supporting them and seeing their ways, right, and learn from their mistakes. Perhaps I had to back off my controlling, right, what if they fall, or what if they make mistakes? It's like, well, better to make it when we're young. So that's how that also can play into our need to control, right? So yes, talking to our children along the way. People used to look at me strange when I would ask my kid if I could hold their hand. I know, Lady Leah, I understand. I ask for hugs, right? I said, can I give you a hug? Just because I'm the parent doesn't mean that the child isn't my property, that I can just take and do whatever I want. But I find all survivors, yes. It's their body. That's right. Exactly. Yes. Hey friend, welcome. So definitely, so we need to model that to our kids. And while we also model that to our kids, we're also modeling that to our friends and family around us. You know what I mean? That's how we protect our kids. And we educate everybody around us, all the adults. When we model this kind of interaction with our kids, we are letting the adults know that these kids have been educated and that they have a concerned, caring parent that asks them questions, that asks them permission, that believes them, right? Actually, just this past week, I wrote a blog post because April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And on April, I focus on that. So this week's blog post was about, how have I empowered my kids? What are some of the questions that I ask my kids and how I've kind of monitored the environment. So the two questions for today, and we've already talked about this a little bit, what aspects of our relationships do we need to stop controlling, right? Once we recognize, where is our need to control because of our childhood, because of what happened to us, because of the abuse and trauma is showing up in our lives. And I know I used to drive my husband crazy. He was just like, I cannot win with you. You are not listening to me. When he was speaking, I was just, formulating my counter attack. So just curious how you all balance the being healthy, protective over overprotective. Very good question. Very good question. It's the path to a well-rounded, confident, empowered individual. I hope so. Yes. Yes. Well, I think Katie, to your question, it's important to always ask ourselves, where, the conversation or the things that you're doing, where is it coming from? Do a reality check. I call them reality checks. Educate all children with parents' permission. Yes. So I used to sometimes feel like I was being very hypervigilant around my children. And I would, read some books. I would talk to some colleagues, or I would talk to fellow survivors. And then also as I did that, I learned to kind of listen and follow my gut feeling on things. So how things played out is different people, different situations would be handled a little differently, but yet being a broken record with my kids, I think was the most important piece. So age appropriately, communicate very openly with my kids about their bodies, the name of their body parts, and the rules, and the difference between secrets and surprises, and to tell them that it isn't the stranger danger that we need to be on the lookout for, because it doesn't matter who does the hurting. I help them to separate, the behavior from the person. Middle school, I might. Connie, I will look through my books and see what I have. I have a whole stack of books. So let me look up, go through. I'm actually doing a prevention training tomorrow. So I'll go through my books and see what I have. But I think that's the key, to have the conversation that no matter who the person is that no matter who they are, if they break a boundary, if they make your child feel uncomfortable in any way, you are going to believe that child. That's their right to speak up if anything is uncomfortable to them. And talk about what uncomfortable means, because that can mean different things to different people, right? And again, because you are the person, these words are coming out of your mouth, and you are helping them navigate situations where things could happen. 80% of abuse happens in one-on-one situations. So when we are being hypervigilant, you know, I would especially be on the lookout for those type of situations, and I would if my child had to be in a place where that could possibly happen, I would be very hypervigilant around educating the adults around, educating my children around there, and I mean preferably never leave them alone with another person, if at all possible, without somehow some awareness of what was happening, like a timeline, the purpose of the interaction and engagement and things like that. So, and I can say, you know, my girls are grown up now, and I used to drive them crazy with all my questions and the need to control, right? But now they understand, and they're actually very grateful for it, and it has made them a more empowered adults, and they are not afraid to ask other people hard questions because they know it's their right to ask if they feel unsafe or something makes them feel uncomfortable. And they know if I'm not there, I'm gonna back them up. Like, they know my mom will always believe me first, no matter what the adults say, because the truth will always come out. So I hope that was helpful a little bit. So what aspects of our relationships do we need to stop controlling, right? And more focus on the ultimate reason for us being so controlling, because outside here, because we feel so out of control on the inside. It's like things are just right in a big heap, in a big soup. We don't know if we're coming or going. We don't understand these feelings. No one has helped us sort it out. How do I feel? What am I going to do with this? Who can I talk to, right? Who is a safe person? So it all just gets jumbled up inside of us. So our job, the best thing I did for all my relationships, was to recognize, where did I feel out of control inside? And slowly learn to sort that out and have that, you know, be gentle and kind to myself as I was sorting out, why did I have this need to control things? Why did it have to be so? And it's like, we don't trust people, right? So it's hard to let go of control. Trust that other people can do it, right? And then some of these ways of being for us, like I thought part of my personality trait was, yeah, I'm just a controlling person, right? Like that's just one of my identities. Not so, because now I'm very direct about the things that I want and need and ask for. But I don't think people experience me as controlling. I actually feel like I'm doing it I'm very intentional, but I'm doing it with a lot of compassion. You know, when you come to a school or a youth serving organization, just if we use that, continuing that example, you know, I bring some hard facts about some really challenging issues. I do it with a lot of love. I tell people, listen, I'm not here to look for blame. I'm here because I want to elevate everybody's awareness so we can all support each other, be on the lookout for all of us, not just my kid, but all the kids here. Yes, 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 Anita, I hear you. I hear you. It is a little frightening world, but the good news, she's got you. You are educated, you're aware, you are her go-to person to be the reality check. Yes, what you see in the news or what you see on media, what you see on Facebook or whatever, that's not reality in many ways. It's like what's really real is kind of what we have heart to heart in our relationships. So, I mean, I cannot imagine. It was hard enough when my son, you know, he's 15 now, but parenting in this with all these devices, I mean, that was just like a whole nother layer of worry, and makes things very, very complicated. So around aspects of my relationship that I needed to stop controlling, I would love to hear from you guys. It's hard and scary. I want to walk home from school. I hear you. I hear you, Connie. I hear you. So another way, yes, I hear you. I hear you, Lady Leo. So another thing, can we, if you guys want to share, what aspects of your relationship do you need to stop controlling? If you're not in a relationship, what can you see is kind of a theme that shows up in your life that perhaps you may have a hard time letting go of, right? And one of those things too, for me, around controlling thing was to, I'm reading my notes here, I was writing in the book earlier, was also, if people did not show up according to my expectations, you know, I used to take it personally, or I would be offended, or I would be like hyper, like, oh my God, right? Judgmental. If you know, my plan wasn't being followed, or people didn't do as I thought was the right way of doing things. So letting go of some of those things, it's like, oh, it's okay, right? I assume maybe something happened. You know, what they do or did is not about me. It's like, it's not about me at all. Are there risks of our own triggers about an abuser to blind us and not see the red flags in a perp? Very good question, Katie. I'm not gonna go into that right now, Katie, okay? It's a really good question. Actually, I'm gonna be interviewed in a week or so. So thank you for asking, just not, right? I don't wanna go into that conversation right now because it could bring whole nother thing here. So I appreciate that. But I actually am going to be interviewed in a couple of weeks where I will be asking those questions, and I'd be happy to share that interview with you. My sabotaging intimate relationship with my partner would share their feelings. No, it's okay, Katie. I know you get it. I know you get it. So exactly, we can sabotage, right? You know, our control we push people away, right? And I used to tell, and you guys have heard me say this. It's like, I expected my husband to love me and, you know, want to be with me and want to hang out with me, but yet I'm like a tiger in a cage. If you come too close and don't step the right invisible path towards this tiger, then you're going to get your eyes scratched out, right? It was crazy making, right? Bless his heart. He's still here, right? I made it very hard for someone to love me. Nora, I'm not in a relationship, but I control how personal I get. I watch what I say, not emotional. Yes. I hear you, my friend. Yes. Yes. I hear you, Katie. I definitely hear you, Katie. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And so, you know, Nora, it's, you know, for me, it was important to recognize those moments. I try to control not feeling being left out of things, so I feel I matter. Yes, Anita. Yes. So brilliant. You guys are having great awareness. So for each of you here, just the piece that you shared, if you can drill down, what's the need underneath? What's the need that's being unmet? I'll learn to draw planning every moment and just plan to do nothing on holidays and relax. Yes. High five on that one. I keep everyone away to protect my kids. I hear you, Connie. I hear you, Connie. I run like a jackrabbit. Once they say those 3 scary words, they can't show me. Oh, I hear you. I hear you, Lady Leo. I also used researching and education about trauma, avoiding feeling vulnerable. Yes, my friends. Yes, my friends. So, I hope that this sharing, you guys are hearing you're not alone. And all the ways that we are trying to control things happening in our lives today are a result. You know, this is the impact of our trauma. And once I realized I'm not a control freak. No, that's not inherently who I am, right? I don't need to have my fingers in everything and everybody's business, right? That's not who I am. That's not even what I wanted. But I was trying to keep safe, right? I was trying to stay safe. And like Nora, reflecting, I can so relate what you said. I remember, you know, in conversations with my husband, you know, before, while he, like I say, while he was speaking, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm keeping track of what am I going to say next. You know, it's like a chess move. I needed to plan 4 or 5 moves ahead. So it's definitely tricky. It's definitely tricky. So I started catching myself doing that. I'm trying to learn that I'm worthy, and I know if they're genuine. Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. You are. You are. And again, you know, I recognize it's hard to be this flexible when we're thinking 3 steps ahead, right? Yes, Rob, me too. We always attract the best people, don't we? I'm so excited. All these angels and this wisdom and this compassion and vulnerable sharing, no accidents. Exactly. Exactly. So we're doing good. But my friends, again, recognizing, kind of getting a hold of one of these pieces at a time. One of the ways, like, okay, I can see this keeps playing out in my life. You know, what's the possibility of what it could be for me if I let this go? I just didn't want them to know the real me, the broken me. Yes. Yes. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. Totally hear you. I hear you. But the thing again, my friends, we think our vulnerable self is the broken self. That your vulnerable self is actually your, how do I say this? The gold, your best self, your most authentic self is your most vulnerable self. So we're actually keeping people from getting to know us and the truth of who we are. Exactly. We deserve someone who loves us, you know, who loves, you know, all of us and can see that the broken parts are what make us so unique, right? There you go, Rob. Truth bomb for you. Yes. And that they can help us see. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, relationships are, you know, very hard, but it's in relationships. Exactly. Even broken crayons can still color, right? Strong and beautiful. Exactly. You know, it's like once I realized that being soft was actually the strongest part of me. My most vulnerable part was was where I felt the strongest. Of course, not in the beginning. I was scared of it, right? Someone can hurt me. But now, my friends, I have nothing to hide, right? Somebody tries to shame me because of the abuse that I suffered. The shame doesn't stick anymore because it doesn't live. It doesn't live inside of me anymore. So I'm like, here I am, right? I'm not hiding it. So if you can take one thing away from today, my friend, and think about what could your relationship look like in the future if you let go of that. Yes, I hear you, Katie. Have to come with terms with those parts. Yes. Come to terms with those parts and understand how they play out. Like, why are they here? So when your brain starts going in, okay, he's saying that, I'm gonna say this, but if I say that, can he come back at me with that? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna say this, and then he might say that, and then I can come back with this, right? When it's been a long time since I've found myself in that mode, but I started catching myself there. And then just slowly forcing myself to just be present in my body, in this conversation right here, right now, just really listening to what the other person was saying. Because what ended up happening, because I was so focused on my reply, my defense, my return attack, if you will, I didn't even hear half the things that were being said. So one of the tools that my husband and I learned in terms of communicating, because it was like we were communicating like this. By the time he was done, I was already countering what he was saying, and then he'd be like, wait, that's not even what I said at all. And I'd be like, yeah, I heard you. I'm standing right here. You said da-da-da-da-da. And he'd be like, that's not what I said. So I didn't even hear him. So we learned to repeat to each other. When we recognized that we were activated or being triggered, then I would say to him, before I reply to you, what is it that I want to repeat what I think you said. Every man except my brothers said that I love you, eventually abused or assaulted me. Man, how do you manage when to trust the gut feelings, intuition that was really fear versus intuition? Remember what I said earlier about reality check. Reality check. It's like, you know, and again, because our bodies are hardwired to protect and defend, we don't even take that breath to let the other person finish what they're saying. Okay, let it settle. There's an open space before we launch into, exactly, I hear you. So it's like we launch into, or we are out the door, right? Because we don't even let them finish what they're saying, because our body is already expecting the worst. So mindfulness, as we talk a lot about here, my friends, whether it's while we're walking or moving our bodies, exercising, self-care, all those things, we're all doing all those things to help our nervous system to slowly start to calm down, so we can actually start to become more aware of those thoughts as they come up. And then we can hear people better, because when we are here, we don't even hear the words. Like, it affects our hearing. And so like I said, I would do a reality check. So hey, okay, this is what I heard you say. And I would repeat to him what he said. And he said, no, that's not what I said. And then I'm like, okay, then please say it again. Yes, I hear you, Katie. I hear you, Katie. I hear you, Katie. And the thing is, yes, those things keep showing up in our lives until something shifts, until something, we intervene, or, something changes, usually inside of us. And a lot of it has to do with our beliefs about ourselves and the world, right? We are the projector for our lives. We project our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves constantly out into the world. Those relationships match our beliefs, yes. No, it's okay, Katie. Love your questions, love your enthusiasm, love your insight and your sharing, so no worries. Please do not apologize. As you can see, everybody, wins. We all learn in this dialogue together. I walk, paint, and make my own ads for prevention and awareness. There you go. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Connie. You do a lot. I know. And this stuff, this prevention and the advocacy work, it can feel very kind of a lonely place and thankless. But I see you, my friends. I hear you. I appreciate you. And I know why you're doing it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I think there's so many, exactly. It helps you and it helps others. And it keeps us moving. Like, for some, each of us has been given a piece, right? A gift and a blessing that we are here to bring forward into this world, a strength that we can fight for. So, and that's why I'm here with you guys. For some reason, it makes my heart sing to be here and support you guys. And as you can see, it's wonderful because I attract these amazing people. Just look around. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, and just notice how you feel, like being in this community, hearing these words being spoken and shared. So we are actually practicing self-compassion in action. You guys may not know it, but what we are doing, we are actually rewiring our brain and helping our body self-regulate as we are sitting here communicating, talking about things that make our body feel a little uncomfortable, but we're staying with it, noticing in the moment. Yes, this makes me feel a little uneasy, but I'm here anyways. I'm gonna hear this. So we're normalizing this conversation, something that we couldn't have fathomed spoken out about, right? Now we're speaking it. Now we're releasing the shame and the secrecy. And your body is paying attention. Exactly, survivor family group. That's definitely what we're doing here. We found each other, family. We found each other. Yes, Lady Leo. We are so excited that you found us, and I'm excited for every single person that is here. So, everybody clear on the assignment? When you let go of this one thing that you have identified for yourself, think and vision and feel into what could my relationships look like if I let this go? How would I feel? Right? So that's your assignment. The Faulty Walnut, I wrote a biography that would totally be the title. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, right? Our brain looks like a walnut. Actually, I think I have one right here. Right? The shape of our brain. Just like a walnut. That's why I eat a lot of nuts. It's brain food. It's really good for your brain to eat nuts. I got a bowl on my desk. Trying to feed my brain. Yeah, exactly. That was just unexpected, Rob. So, well, thanks for being here. And I wanted to tell you, I'm so excited. I wanted to tell you where I'm going tonight. I'm actually going to a fundraiser at a children's advocacy center. And, okay, but oh yes, by the way, guys, I completely forgot, but tomorrow, I can't be here tomorrow. I forgot, I'm teaching a child sexual abuse prevention training that runs into 4 o'clock. And tomorrow, the traffic, I know it's gonna take me an hour or so to get home. I won't be able to make it in time. I thought maybe I could get here even, before around 5. But I know it's gonna give me anxiety to think that you guys are waiting for me if I run late and I'm stuck in traffic. So I'm gonna let myself off the hook. I'm being flexible. So I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. So sorry for doing this very last minute. Yes, and I'm going to listen to Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris. If you guys haven't heard her name, she is a doctor that talks about the ACE study. Her TED Talk video has gotten like 500,000 hits or something. And she's speaking tonight at this fundraiser that I'm going to here in Portland. And I got myself a ticket and I'm so excited to go see her in person. So I'm really looking forward to it. So, well, again, so this is the end of our week for us, my friends. Again, my apologize for such last minute notice. Exactly, I mentioned her. So if you have not heard her TED Talk, please go listen. Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris. So looking forward to that. And tomorrow, like I said, I am actually teaching a child sexual abuse prevention training at my dentist office. I've been spending a lot of time at my dentist office this last year or so. I've gotten to know those people. And so they know what I do, and they invited me to come. And there's a lot of young family, women, and actually the dentist is a family, who has some children. So I'm going into the dentist's office to talk about child sexual abuse tomorrow to help them keep their kids safe. So that's why I won't be able to make it here in time. So, well, thank you guys. This was an awesome conversation and sharing like always. I always appreciate you guys for your courage, for being here. Just showing up here, my friends. You guys, this is helping you more than you can imagine. So thank you for receiving my gift, for being here with you guys, and thank you for participating and supporting one another, because I couldn't do this alone. This is a community effort. Each of your hearts, each of your comments, each of your participation and sharing makes a huge difference. Yes, I will tell them that, All right, Connie. Yeah, we're planning our world tour. I think New York is on the map, I guess. So we'd love to come to New York and meet you in person. So yes, we belong. We belong. And you are important to us, my friend. You are all important to us. You are. You are. So good night here. See you guys in the Facebook group. And so just to anybody that's new here, we do have a closed Facebook group for the readers of the book. Just shoot me a note if you'd like more information about that, where we sometimes continue this conversation. But good job, everybody. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Awesome. I'll see you guys later. Night, night.